Hey everybody, it's Jamie at One More for the Good Guys. On the last episode, we talked about making a group channel, adding EQ, and then multiband compression. Now, before we get into the nuances of mixing, and I'm just doing a skeleton setup here for what I personally do. Okay, I like to listen to things once I get to this point at near the level that my listener is going to be listening. Okay. Now, I keep the volume down on my headphones to reduce ear fatigue, and you should too. But here's something that I do. Okay. It's not really a plug for Waves plugins, but I've used them a lot. And this one is a notorious one, if you will. The L2 plugin. Even the Mac is like, man, are you sure about this? Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. All right. So what I want to do now, I've got this on the output bus as an insert and turn it off.
I mean, it's like they wrote it, but it's,
Threshold's at the top,
well,
so
we
this
might
will
say
have
to
no
one another,
effect.
you know.
My favorite, Barty.
All right, so I want my output ceiling on this to, let's just be at -1 and give us still some headroom there. And I'm going to dial this down, this threshold down.
5 thing is in the episode when the inspector's coming and Opie brings all those dogs into the
God, that's great.
and so
Okay, so now once you get volume, most of the time is your friend. Okay, and a lot of people will mix loud and then they don't understand that just because you mix loud doesn't mean it translates well. So I get my level up where I want it. I may not use this in the mix down, but I get my level up where I want it, and then I roll my headphones back down because I want to create the illusion of a final mix for my ears. All right, squash it on both ends and let's sit it there, and I kind of listen to see if I have things dropping out.
Talking about because this guy has got his disability check, and now he thinks he's hit the big time.
And what's really cool, if you listen to that when it first started, you hear that noise floor, and what's happening there is this Clarity VX plugin on each of these channels is calculating what needs to happen, looking ahead, and then it kicks in. So that's why you hear that noise floor when it comes out. When you go to render this, that will do that for you, and you won't have to worry about that. So that noise floor is still there when you first start.
Here one evening,
Hear it?
I was just like, nothing. You know, I thought, usually I'll catch up because I just about refuse to watch the Sports Center and all that shit anymore.
I won't watch Dan.
So I'll catch up with Dan Patrick or...
Okay. Now some of that's the L2 because when you do this, you turn up all the frequencies. Okay. So, but that's good to know because so now once I have this at the level I need, I can go to work and with my fine tuning. All right. So even from the vocal
The
bus,
literary things.
Guys, it's been out for 700 fucking years.
It's so. Have you seen it?
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
We
It's
won the War of 1812.
Grapes of Wrath, the movie. He is perfect in it, man.
I'll have to check it out.
It's one of the things that, like, I'm like you.
okay. Now, this is how I do things for this. This is not my golden rule for every mix. But what I've done now is I've put that in my dynamic range in my ears, how I want it to be on the radio, through the podcast, and what people are listening to out there. And what's important with the mix, the most important thing with your mix is that people can hear it and understand it without having discomfort. That's the main thing with this. Okay, if I'm having a gain ride the volume knob, the engineer didn't do his job. Okay, now especially with a semi-controlled source like this, you know, if you're dealing with a live situation, hey, that's a whole set of other problems. But there's no excuse for it with something like this.
Born in the 80s, I think I might have sat through part of a Star Trek episode, but I've never watched a Star Wars movie. And my son is 23 years old, and he loves it all. And he's like, Dad, how did you grow up back then and miss that? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just,
You might be the only person.
I know.
So my goal here is to make sure that all the speakers, their speech is intelligible. It's not, I'm not having a strain to hear it. And that reduces fatigue, and people will listen longer. It's just the way it is. Okay. So that is putting a limiter, L2 in this case, on the final output mix bus to get that in my ears the way it should translate when I make an MP3 out of this and upload it, or a WAV file, or what have you. Okay. This is Jamie at One More for the Good Guys. I'll see you next time.